In a distant and arid land, there lived a large family led by Jacob, a man whose life had been marked by many trials and blessings. Among his 12 sons, there was one who held a special place in his heart: Joseph. Still young, Joseph was the picture of vitality and purity. At only 17 years old, he showed an uncommon sparkle in his eyes, a reflection of a soul full of dreams. Joseph was not only Jacob's son in his old age, he was the child of love between Jacob and Rachel, his dearly beloved wife. As a sign of his special affection, Jacob gifted Joseph a coat of many colors. That coat was not just a piece of clothing, it was a symbol of distinction, something that set him apart from his brothers. The vibrant colors of the fabric seemed to capture the essence of Joseph himself, a young man full of hope, energy, and faith. To him, the coat was a treasure, but to his brothers, it was a constant reminder that Joseph was the favorite. Resentment grew in their hearts like a shadow spreading, silent but relentless. Joseph, however, did not fully understand the feelings of his brothers. He was a dreamer, and his dreams came as vivid visions that he felt the need to share. On a peaceful night under the glow of a starry sky, he gathered his family and, with enthusiasm, told them about the dream he had.
I dreamed that we were in the field, tying bundles of wheat.
He began, his voice full of innocent excitement.
Suddenly, my bundle stood upright, while yours bowed down before mine.
Joseph's brothers exchanged uncomfortable glances. It seemed like a provocation, a direct affront. "Do you really think you will reign over us?" one of them asked, his voice dripping with sarcasm. The tension in the room was palpable, but Joseph did not stop there. A few days later, he had another, even grander dream.
This time, I dreamed that the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down before me.
He told them, his voice echoing in the silence of the room. Even Jacob, who loved Joseph more than anything, frowned.
"What does this dream mean, my son? Will I, your mother, and your brothers really bow before you?"
Despite his doubts, Jacob kept those words in his heart, as if sensing that there was something greater at play. Days passed, but the resentment of Joseph's brothers only grew. On the contrary, it intensified with every glance at the colorful coat, with every dream shared. Until one hot afternoon, while tending the flock far from home, the brothers saw Joseph approaching from a distance. He wore the coat, which shimmered under the desert sun as if challenging the very horizon.
"Here comes the dreamer,"
they said to each other with contempt in their voices. This was the perfect opportunity to act. When Joseph arrived with a confident smile on his face, the brothers grabbed him brutally, tearing off his coat. Joseph, perplexed, tried to resist, but the weight of their hatred was overwhelming. They threw him into an empty pit while he cried for help. Joseph couldn't understand why they were being so cruel. His brothers, deliberating on what to do next, decided to sell him as a slave to a caravan of Ishmaelite merchants passing by, heading to Egypt. As Joseph was taken away, his tear-filled eyes met his brothers for the last time. It was a look of sorrow and confusion. With the colorful coat in their hands, the brothers stained it with the blood of an animal, creating the illusion that Joseph had been attacked by a wild beast. When they delivered the coat to Jacob, the father's pain was overwhelming. He tore his clothes in mourning and wept bitterly. To Jacob, the light of his life had been extinguished. Meanwhile, Joseph faced the unknown. The journey to Egypt was long and painful, but even in the darkness, Joseph kept his faith. In Egypt, he was sold into the house of Potiphar, an important official of Pharaoh. Despite the circumstances, Joseph showed integrity and dedication in everything he did. God was with him, and his presence was evident. Potiphar entrusted him with the management of his entire household, and under Joseph's care, everything prospered. But Joseph's peace was once again disrupted when Potiphar's wife, attracted by his appearance and character, tried to seduce him. Joseph firmly refused, saying,
Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
The rejection inflamed the woman's anger, and she falsely accused Joseph of attempting to harm her. Joseph was unjustly imprisoned. In prison, Joseph became an example of faith and resilience. He helped the other prisoners and gained the trust of the jailer, who placed him in charge of the other detainees. It was there that Joseph interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, accurately predicting their destinies. It was there that Joseph interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, accurately predicting their destinies. Until one night, Pharaoh had disturbing dreams. None of Egypt's wise men could interpret them. None of Egypt's wise men could interpret them. It was then that the cupbearer remembered Joseph. He was summoned to Pharaoh's presence and with humility explained that God was the one who gave him the ability to interpret dreams. Joseph revealed that the dreams meant 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine. Impressed by his wisdom, Pharaoh appointed Joseph as the governor of Egypt. Under his leadership, Egypt prospered during the years of abundance and prepared for the years of scarcity. Under his leadership, Egypt prospered during the years of abundance and prepared for the years of scarcity, including Joseph's brothers. Upon seeing them, Joseph recognized them immediately, but they did not realize that the powerful man before them was the brother they had sold. Joseph tested them, wanting to know if they had changed. In the end, he could no longer contain his tears. He revealed himself, saying,
I am Joseph, your brother, the one you sold into slavery. Do not be afraid, for it was God who sent me ahead of you to save lives.
The reunion was emotional. Tears of regret, forgiveness, and joy marked the moment when the family was restored. Jacob, who had mourned Joseph's loss for so many years, finally saw him again. His joy was indescribable. Joseph, the young dreamer, became the living proof that even in the darkest adversities, God works for a greater purpose. His path was not easy, but his faith and perseverance transformed him into the instrument of salvation for his family and an entire nation.